You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
From Joliet, Illinois to the hills of wine country in Northern California, it is the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series, round number 6, here from Sonoma Raceway. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. My name is Frank Marchese, taking you through round number 6 here of the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series presented by Ricmotech. Just getting into the qualifying session as it stands right now, and this is kind of your one-off race here. Last week you had Tuesday off for Halloween. It feels like that was a month ago already. Then next week you have a 50-50 race that will not be broadcasted. After that is going to be a weekend off. Is going to be the week off for Thanksgiving before we get back to racing again. So this is a big race as far as momentum is concerned to carry you off to a 2-week break as we get into this race here tonight. We'll take a look at the point standings here coming into this event. Mike Rominger holds a pretty steady 29-point lead as it currently sits over Paul Irvin. Mike Rominger able to finish second at Chicagoland 2 weeks ago. Alex Reeling, Jacob Jensen, Ed Morris coming in your top five, but you see there really from second all the way down to seventh, they are very, very close. 20 points separating second and seventh in the point standings, so a lot of things can move around and change. Now, granted, there are a couple of drivers that are in thanks to wins that are in the playoffs, so the point standings are as they sit, as they are in points. Really quickly, we'll take a look at the team standings before we see cars out on track here. Team standings, Primetime Motorsports way out in front, just a shade under 500 points. Elite Esports is their closest competition right now at 421 points. Rush Hour and Caldwell Racing very, very close. Hutch Sports and Dark Horse flipped positions after Chicagoland next week. After Chicagoland 2 weeks ago, pardon me. As we will get you now down to the racetrack as we see Nicholas Caldwell out on circuit as drivers taking time here for the first time tonight. A 10-minute qualifying session here. Stage break tonight will be at the end of lap 13, and that will be the only full course caution that we will see here tonight. So we will get, say, about 36 or so, 35, 36 green flag laps in here tonight as Caldwell, not the first one to start a lap time. There's Logan Coger. We saw him up front quite a bit at Chicagoland 2 weeks ago. Dustin Carroll sets the first time. Rob Haynes goes to the top at a 1:18.06, and Coger must have gone off somewhere because he did not set a valid lap time. Here's Haynes coming up through the S's. We're running the old NASCAR circuit, the not original, then the put in and then taken out for a couple years, and now back to the NASCAR configuration. As you see that infield section cut out, that straightaway that we remember from the late 90s through the 2000s is back, and that is what we will be running today, not running the infield carousel, as Haynes on a very good lap here at the moment as he goes down the downhill S's on the east side of this course. Going through turn 11 before the hard braking point at turn 12, the hairpin here at Sonoma. Alex Reeling completes his first lap, second quickest, about 0.8 of a second off the pace that Robert Haynes was able to put down. Haynes a little bit quicker through the first sector this lap time, and he will not improve. He'll run almost identical, less than 0.1 of a second slower, which around a racetrack like Sonoma, that's not a bad differential. As Alex Reeling out on track. Jacob Jensen goes second fastest at a 1:18.52 on his second lap. Reeling working that Appalachian State #1 machine. On his second lap of qualifying. Appalachian State college basketball starting last night. Nice little 87-94 win over Oakland City University. As Reeling will go to the point at a 1:17.88, so a very good second lap for the ace at car #1. As Colby Collins on lap #2 here, 12th quickest on the first lap. Don't tip it off the circuit, and that will put an end to lap #2, as David Calo also has an early end to lap #2, as does Kerry Cleaver. So a couple of drivers having trouble with that run up the hill. Here's Ed Morris. Paul Irvin and Ed Morris right now are the only two drivers out on a lap. Keith Walton did his scouting lap, or his get up to speed lap, but unable to do more. As Morris and Irvin, Morris will go up to P4 at a 1:18.54. We'll have plenty of onboard shots to give you guys here tonight to see just the elevation changes and how hard these drivers are having to work throughout the field here tonight. As there we see Paul Irvin heading very gingerly through the hairpin. Turn number 12 coming on to the front straightaway. And Paul Irvin will go time unregistered. Take a look at Ed Morris now coming through the S's on the back end of the course. Steady look to car number 7 here this evening. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there coming out of turn 11. Off towards the hairpin. And Morris heading up to the line. He's been faster, personal best in sectors 1 and 2. He will go up to P3 at a 1:18.36, so a good time for car number 7. As we'll see Paul Irvin on his second lap here. And he will most likely be the last driver to set a qualifying time. So if Alex Reeling can withstand Paul Irvin coming across the line here, this should be a pole for car number 1. Irvin coming to the line. He set the fastest second sector, and it's good enough for P5. So a very, very good lap there for Paul Irvin on his second go. 1:18.82. Top 5 in the 1:18s, and that will do it for the qualifying session, as Alex Reeling will be your pole award winner. Keith Walton in car number 69, again, is the only driver that has not set a time, the only driver of the 18 that has not set a time, but with a minute 9 seconds left, minute 5 seconds left now here in this qualifying session, taking a minute 18 to get around the track. There's no way he is going to be able to complete a lap. So Alex Reeling will collect the pole here for this race tonight. That will be his first pole award this season. And again, we have yet to have a duplicate winner thus far here in the Xfinity Series. 5 different races, 5 different winners is what we have seen thus far this season. And with 15 seconds to go, it's just a formality wrapping out this qualifying time, as we will momentarily be taking a look at the starting grid here for race number 6 of this season. Thank you to those of you in chat who are joining us here this evening as we get set to go here at Sonoma Raceway. On pole with a time of 1 minute 17.877. Alex Reeling in car number 1 will start off from position number 1. Rob Haynes, just a 1/10.5 behind, will make up the outside of row number 1. Ed Morris and Jacob Jensen will make up row 2. Paul Irvin and Austin Carpe in row 3, last week's winner. Michael Robinson and Nicholas Caldwell back from suspension and a 50-point deduction in row number 4. Row 5 will go to David Colo and Gary Wells. Michael Thwaites and Logan Koger will make up row number 6. Row 7 goes to Nate Orlowski and Kobe Collins. Dustin Carroll and Josh Wren will make up row 8, with row 9 going to Kerry Cleaver and Keith Walton. Weather conditions here for today's race. We are just past a quarter to 11, or coming up to a quarter to 11 a.m. in sim time on this day. Ambient temperature 67 degrees, track temperature 76 degrees, 2-mile-an-hour winds blowing westward, which would mean blowing from the end of the racetrack you're seeing now up the hill, going towards turns 1, 2, and 3. Not much of a wind to speak of here in this early morning, but a very, very cool day here in Northern California to get this race going, as the grid now starting to work its way around this long racetrack. And turn 1 for these guys is most likely going to be the most difficult. Up the hill here to turn number 2. Let's jump on board. There's Alex Reeling, sitting on pole here tonight, carrying an onboard camera with him here today. Michael Irvin as well there in car number 48. Just off the side of his machine. Look back off of Nicholas Caldwell, car number 34. Let's have a little bit of gyro cam work here with Logan Koger here today, coming off of that big curb down the hill at what is effectively turn 4. Get off that curbing again. And of course, we will have a multitude of other in-car cameras set up for this race today. Again, this is the only race here in the month of November that means points. Next week will be a 50-50 race, and then off for Thanksgiving, and we will be back at it again in December as Alex Reeling gets set on the inside line, or what will be the inside line going into turn 1. Here for this race start, Rob Haynes keeping it wrapped right down by those tire bundles. Coming towards the line, green flag is in the air. 40 laps here at Sonoma. We're off and running. Everybody gets up the hill fine as Reeling dives down into turn 3A, 3B, up the hill. Turn 3B here. This is one of the more difficult corners on the circuit as David Kalo and Koger both go around. Here's Logan Koger. So those two having troubles early. Jacob Jensen looking to the outside. We're looking to the left of Austin Carpe. Carpe makes up another spot as they snake their way down the S's for the first time here of 40. Get the feeling that Alex Reeling is going to have Rob Haynes for close company here tonight. He's coming down into the heavy braking zone for the first time. Look at Paul Irvin looking for a move to the inside of Michael Robinson in car number 39. A little bit of contact there, nothing much doing. Paul Irvin gets back up into the 6th position as Kerry Cleaver has gone around. This is turn number 11. That little right elbow just before the hairpin. Further back, this is about 2.5 seconds beyond the race leaders as this battle of 3 Carpe in the 19, Jensen car 64, Ed Morris car 7. These guys were running very, very close as far as qualifying times were concerned. Again, only the top 5 drivers were inside the 1 minute 18 second bracket. A little bit of a wiggle there out of Jacob Jensen towards Austin Carpe. As we know, this hairpin here is going to be where you're going to want to watch most of this race. It's one of the best passing zones on the circuit. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to David Collot going up through turns 3A and 3B. There's Koger in the 25 there as well. Ooh, Koger just caught too much of the curb. Let's take a ride on board of Logan Koger. And up the hill, that's out of turn 2. Dive down into 3A. Just jumps the curb and right into the side of David Collot. This here was Kerry Cleaver. Coming down and out of the S's through turn 11. Just a little bit too hot. Too much grass. Fortunately kept it out of that inside tire bundle. He will live to fight another day. And now here's Koger. This is going down into turn 4. Again, just too much of that curb. Oh, it catches the end of that tire bundle. And off goes the back bumper of car 25. Nothing much changing here. Alex Reeling up front just set the fastest lap of the race at a 1:18.16. Still about 0.4 of a second slower than his qualifying time. But 0.6 of a second faster than Rob Haynes, who put his fastest lap of the race in last time by. 1:18.73. So this right here would be your closest battle on track between these 4. Jump on board here with Ed Morris. See him fighting that wheel coming through the S's. Jacob Jensen really putting Austin Carpe under quite an amount of pressure, as is Paul Irvin looking to the inside of Ed Morris. Irvin's going to take the spot. As Austin Carpe doing a great job of defending against Jacob Jensen. Coming up the hill here, Carpe with a little bit more tighter exit. Jensen trying to go up and under, instead goes up and up. Look to towards the inside at turn 3A. And a slow exit there from Carpe at the top of the hill, diving into turn number 4. Jacob Jensen with the spot. Not the easiest racetrack to get around for sure. And especially in these big lumbering stock cars. You can take a GT car around here all you want. It still doesn't quite prepare you for the amount of patience that you need to allow these cars to get through these corners and get through them quick, as Paul Irvin now with a big dive on Austin Carpe makes the move stick. Paul Irvin up to 4th. Irvin was one of the faster cars in the practice and in the qualifying session, so Irvin starting to think he didn't quite get the best out of his qualifying effort. Fell back to 7th on the initial start, but he's gotten back up to 4th. So once those tires started to heat up and heat in, 48 car has been doing all right. Austin Carpe now coming under pressure from Ed Morris. Michael Robinson looming in the background there in car number 39. One of just 3 Toyotas in the field. Keith Walton, as we mentioned, did not put down a qualifying time. He did not start this race either. Kerry Cleaver, who we saw in car 96 go around earlier on, he is now just getting back out on track. Josh Wren right now is on pit road. Here is what happened to Josh Wren a moment ago in the 36. Just slides it, hits the wall hard. Not a normal spot to have an incident here. Oh boy, Ed Morris really put a move on. See it here. Watch how this corner up here, 3B, completely blind. You're guessing where the exit of that corner is. It's one of the toughest corners on this track. Carry the most speed going up the hill towards turn 2. But as far as figuring out where your braking zone is and where you can start accelerating to get off the corner and down the hill towards the north end of the racetrack, turn 3B is certainly one to be wary of. Is heading down the hill through the sweeping left of turn 10. Turn 11, a lot tighter than one would assume. Of course, the slow hairpin, about 35, 40 miles an hour through the hairpin of turn 12. And Morris falling off just a little bit. Michael Robinson setting his fastest lap of the race at a 1:19.32 last time around, so he is starting to catch this group. Nicholas Caldwell, there he is in the 34, looming in the background. He set his fastest lap of the race, not the most recent time around, but the lap before, 1:19.83. Everyone else in the 120s or slower. There's Michael Thwaites in the number 12, Peak Antifreeze Chevrolet Camaro. Had a very unfortunate run at Chicagoland 2 weeks ago. Hoping to just finish the race here tonight, something he did not do in Joliet, Illinois. This battle for 5th here, Ed Morris looking to the inside of Austin Carpe, has to throw the brakes on. It's allowing Michael Robinson to catch right back up in the 34 of Caldwell. He's starting to inch back closer as well. There he is. Not missing anything up front. Alex Reeling out in front by 3.5 seconds over Rob Haynes. The battle here. Oh, as Carpe catches a lot of that turn 3 curb. Going to be very slow coming up over the crest. And Morris will take P5. Now it's on Michael Robinson to try to get position. He's going to try to dive in. Close but no cigar for car number 39. Austin Carpe back where he started in position 6. Had a good opening couple of laps, but you get the sense that He was holding up Jensen and Irvin, and Morris has already opened up a 2.25 gap as Robinson looks to the inside. Wow, what a pass by Michael Robinson. Laid on the brakes, back end came out, able to hold on to it, and no contact between himself and the 19. That's one of the better passes you'll see here at Sonoma. What a move. Let's take a look at it again. You can't help but admire it. It's a big dive. Back end swings out. Wow. Unbelievable. Let's take a look at it from inside. Watch the hands at work. Going slow enough, and it's a tight enough turn that you don't really have to work to catch it. You just throw it the other way. What a job by Michael Robinson as Rob Haynes comes into pit from second. We're on lap 11, so we're 2 laps away from the stage break. Jacob Jensen surrenders third. So a couple of guys deciding to pit. Pits close at the end of this lap. So Haynes and Jensen deciding better pit now for the track position at the end of to begin stage 2. Leaves Alex Rilling 15 seconds clear of Paul Irvin. Down the bottom of the turn 3 hill, that's Austin Carpe and Nicholas Caldwell. And Michael Thwaites is starting to roll in on these two. Rob Haynes rejoins in 8th position. Jacob Jensen rejoining in 11th. 7 seconds adrift of Kobe Collins in the 9. So unless Collins has a moment here, Jacob Jensen might have taken himself out of stage points with that pit stop, as Carpe doing everything he can to hold on to Nicholas Caldwell as we got 2 laps to go before the end of the stage, and Caldwell in the 34 is all over Carpe. Can't light the tires up too much as we'll jump on board here with Nicholas Caldwell, and that's certainly not helping the confidence to try to pass him. Ooh. Heard him wipe the rears up there, have to back off the throttle. And some of these races, not necessarily won by speed. Sometimes it's the driver who could just stay on the track can be the one who wins these races, or at least gets a good finish. It's a battle for second here between Paul Irvin and Ed Morris. As you see the time difference there, Morris has taken 1.3 seconds out of Irvin these last couple of laps. Irvin losing the back end. Coming out of the hairpin and has a big wiggle coming towards the start-finish line, and Paul Irvin going to drop to third. He may have been allowing Ed Morris through, seeing that he was the faster car, but I don't think he meant to wiggle like that. It's a big old moment for car 48. So Morris now about 1.5 seconds clear, as here is Alex Rilling coming down the hill. through turn 10 into turn 11. Started on pole. Had a couple of laps where Rob Haynes was close, but nothing much doing beyond that. Reeling settled in, got out front, and will win stage number 1 from the pole. 17-year-old out of Mooresville, North Carolina, has really been whipping that car around here tonight. As there's Rob Haynes running the 8th spot. Nicholas Caldwell couldn't quite get Austin Carpe, but he will be able to hold off Michael Thwaites. Here's Kobe Collins trying to hunt down Dustin Carroll in the 92. This is 9th and 10th. After these two cross the line, the caution will come out. And there you saw that white car there, Jacob Jensen, misses out on stage points to come in under the green flag. So Alex Rilling walks the field here in stage number 1. 14 laps complete, 14 laps led for car number 1. Stage 1 complete. We run to the finish when we return here on Sim Racing Media.
Getting set to go back racing here at Sonoma Raceway here in Sonoma, California. Rob Haynes, after not pitting at the end of stage one, pitting before the end of stage one on lap 10, stays out. He will get the race lead. Rob Haynes will start to his outside. Leader for this restart did not have lane choice. So everyone will start as iRacing puts them. As Haynes and Reeling will start the same way they did to open up this race. However, it will be in the reverse order. Only 8 cars up here to start on this restart. Everyone else catching up after late trips through the pits. Our second and final double file restart here in this race coming up. Green flag is back in the air. Great start from Haynes. They're going to be side by side up the hill once again. But Reeling just had to try to hold on. It couldn't. He was going to have the inside on Haynes, but with the pace that he had and now the tire advantage that he has, shouldn't be too much of an effort. As there's Dustin Carroll. This is back at the start-finish line. Carroll was one of the drivers that came into pit late, that had to wait, or that had to try to catch up. Show you what happened there in just a moment. That looked like Ed Morris that went off. He has. Ed Morris big into the end of the tire wall. What happened to Ed Morris? He will be the 4th retirement of this race as battle for the race lead. Here between Rob Haynes and Alex Reeling. Haynes out in front, had the pole for a little bit. Alex Reeling, though, took it, and these are the first laps in this race here that Reeling has not led, as now Reeling gets to the inside coming out of turn 2, got a better run coming out of turn 2, and that will allow Reeling back into the race lead, and maybe to stay. These guys have already put 3 seconds on Michael Robinson, as Paul Irvin now having to defend from Austin Carpe. Not able to get the move done there was car number 19. Let's take a look and see here what happened on this restart, as David Collot looked like going through turn 11 trying to catch up. Caught a little bit of the grass and a little bit too hot going into the hairpin. And that's Collot just trying to catch up on
the start. Here's Dustin Carroll trying to do the same. Side by side with Jacob Jensen. And, did the same exact thing the 36 of Josh Wren did earlier on. And now here's what happened with Ed Morris. Starting to come down the hill through the S's. Nobody near him. Oh, just lost the back end and nosed it right into those tire bundles. You heard that little pop there at the end. That was the engine going. On car number 7 is here's Kobe Collins looking to the inside, or the right side, I should say, of Gary Wells. And Wells looking to give it right back to him, right back to the right side. A big wiggle there from Collins. Slots in behind Wells. On board with Gary Wells. Coming down through the S's. Was Caldwell. Michael Thwaites going down into the hairpin. It's just ahead of them, and Michael Thwaites gets around Caldwell, put the 12 into P6. Now here's the big battle. This has been the battle here for most of this race. Michael Robinson, P3. Paul Irvin, P4. Austin Carpe, P5. Irvin has been the faster of the three. But Robinson a little bit better pit stop, a little bit better restart. Has gotten out in front. Robinson not quite losing too much time, if any. To Irvin. Irvin got a very good run there. Irvin might try to dive bomb on the outside. He does. Not quite good enough to make the move stick. Jump on board here with Paul Irvin. The hill, and you can see we're quite a bit higher here in this point of view than where the driver would see. Even still, you cannot see the outside curbing at all coming out of 3B down to turn 4. Turn 5, this is the north end of the racetrack. A little bit of a slide there from the 39. There's 6. 7. Turn 8. Turn 9. Sweeper at turn 10. That little patch of asphalt there that you saw coming out of the middle of that corner was a chicane for IndyCar when they would run here. It's Paul Irvin trying to make a move on the 39, gets loose on the gas coming out of turn 12. That will allow Carpe to go by. It will also allow Michael Thwaites and Nicholas Caldwell through as well. So Paul Irvin, a little bit too happy on the loud pedal. Ends up losing a couple of positions, and now Michael Robinson has Austin Carpe for close company. See, and there's the turn right there. Those cones, those thin markers, is to get into the infield circuit. Carousel, where NASCAR ran for the last couple of years. So kink of 6, 7. Then you go straight off here to get to that little chicane, and then here we'll jump back on board, this with Robinson. Take a look, you'll see a little bit of curbing on the right side, just beyond this tire wall. There's the curbing. That's where the IndyCar hairpin was. So they wouldn't come all the way down here. They would cut to the inside of what used to be Gilligan's Island. Down there and cut straight across from there. See, Austin Carpe is not the stage winner. There we go. Carpe and Thwaites keeping a lot of close company for Robinson. Robinson, though, not too shaken up by their location. Coming out to about a second gap now is Robinson. It's Paul Irvin trying to chase down Nicholas Caldwell. Coming through the S's. Big dive from Paul Irvin. Looks to the inside. Does car 48. A little bit of a slide. 34 tries to go up and under. Doesn't have the pace. So Irvin will take over P6 and will begin to chase down to try to recover where he was earlier on. This was a couple of laps ago, a moment involving Gary Wells here in the 33. Just behind Paul Irvin, who just catches too much of that curb. Watch out. Doesn't hit the tire bundle on the inside. There goes Collins and Jensen by. Alex Reeling out in front by double digits. 10.3 seconds the gap between car 1 and car 99. 4 seconds separates Rob Haynes from this group of 4. Sector times. Robinson quite a bit quicker. Just hit the sector 1 marker between turn 2 and 3A. Pulled another 3/10 on Carpe as I think, Michael Thwaites has Paul Irvin diving underneath him going into turn 4. And gets the spot. Talk so much about these road course races being a test of skill and it being more drivers racing the car and the track instead of those around them. Take a look here at the track map. That is where all of your drivers are located around the track. There you see car number 1. Coming up towards that red stripe, that's start-finish line. And those red dots, we mentioned sector times and sector splits. Those red dots mark where the sectors are around the racetrack. Something you don't hear much about in NASCAR, but if you're a World GT fan or a Formula One fan, sector times, sector splits, something you'll hear quite a bit. World Endurance, who just ran their season finale at the Sakir International Circuit in Bahrain this past weekend. Congratulations, by the way, to the Iron Dames, a Porsche GT team made up entirely of women. Women drivers, women crew. They came home and took the class win in their Porsche car number 85 for the World Endurance Championship, that final race in Bahrain. Congratulations to them. That's a massive, massive win for the Iron Dames team. And their pink dinosaur, Roxy, I believe is the name given to, as Austin Carpe overcooks it, going into the hairpin. Going to lose out a couple of spots. And just as Paul Irvin lost his 4th spot, gets it back in almost the same way. Now the battle's between Nicholas Caldwell and Michael Thwaites. Let's see what happened here with Carpe. Just gets in too hot. He was way too hot. I mean, we saw that beautiful move from Michael Robinson earlier on. Carpe was way too hot. Let's ride on board here, car number 19. He tried clutching it too to try to kill the engine power, maybe get a little bit of engine brake going, and unfortunately nothing doing. Nate Orlowski in the number 29 comes into pit road, as does David Killough, and this is a very long pit road here at Sonoma. Pit road speed used to start just inside the pit wall before you took the outside of the hairpin. Now it starts at the end of the hairpin. It's not like you're going to be rolling too fast through that narrow little corridor either way, but still, it's a long and slow pit road here at Sonoma. It's a battle for 5th here between Nicholas Caldwell and Michael Thwaites. See that almost identical lap times last time around. Caldwell a little bit quicker. Ooh, it's not going to be quicker this time, as now Michael Thwaites gets the run. And as we mentioned, sometimes all you have to do is stay on track and positions will come to you. That was a perfect example of it right there. Thwaites didn't appear to be putting on too much pressure. Caldwell goes a little bit too hot into turn 5. Position swapped. 11 laps to go here from Sonoma. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back and take you to the finish. Alex Reeling out in front by 12.5 seconds. He's been cruising in that number 1. We'll take you again to the checkered flag when we return. Back here at Sonoma Raceway in wine country in Northern California, battle for third. You saw the pass during break there between Paul Irvin and Michael Robinson. Robinson now trying to pile the pressure back on. Also saw Jacob Jensen get around Austin Carpe. One thing you didn't see, though, Michael Thwaites going off track. This was as Caldwell was passing, as these guys were getting around. And Thwaites, it's at the right-hander at turn 8, or at turn 9, I should say. David Colo not for position, so Michael Thwaites going from 5th all the way down to the 8th position. Speaking of Jacob Jensen, been down pit road a couple of times. Not only did he come into pit prior to the stage break, which unfortunately took him out of the stage points in car 64. He finished 11th in the first stage. He also came down pit road again during the stage break. So we thought he would have done the same thing that Rob Haynes did, which was stay out, get the track position, and try to hold on for dear life, because Jensen has had a very fast car. One of the 3 drivers that has put a lap down under 1:19 during the race. But unfortunately, that did not work out for Jensen, and he was so far behind. As the field took the green flag, he just has not had a chance to really show his stuff here tonight, and it looks as though Nicholas Caldwell, who's just in front of him in 5th, is about as high as he's going to be able to get here tonight. So maybe a race of what could have been for Jacob Jensen, because he was running in either 3rd or 4th at the end of the stage, or in the stage when he came into pit. So for Jensen, it may feel like a missed opportunity, and he is wringing the neck of this car. You know, we drove on board earlier with Alex Reeling during the break. You could tell there wasn't a lot of drama. And the way he was driving that car, just smooth as silk. This is, say the very least, this is not that. As Jensen is hustling this car around here. Seven laps to go here as well. Nicholas Caldwell having a little bit less of an easy time than Jensen is at the moment. Interesting, Jensen taking turn 11 in 4th gear. We saw Reeling, and would assume most guys would be running in 3rd gear in that corner. As off to the outside goes Jensen, not quite good enough to make the move there. Oh boy, not good enough to make it on corner exit either, as that was a big slip coming off the corner, and he is a wrestling this car. I don't know what it's like to, oh, jeez. Oh, to the outside. Oh, contact between the two. Not quite into the fence. But Jensen tried to jump on some room, and it wasn't quite there. Saw from riding on board with Jensen that 34 definitely made a mistake, cut the corner a little bit short. Didn't get on the gas all that quick. There it is from outside. There you see the wiggle. Boy, how both of those cars kept it out of the wall. So a little puff probably from the left rear of the 34 catching the wall, but still, I mean, that was That was almost catastrophe. Michael Robinson, after falling back a couple of seconds, has now got Paul Irvin in the sights again. Paul Irvin may have had a couple of slow corners or an off somewhere because he lost full 0.8 of a second that last lap. Paul Irvin 21.69 to Michael Irvin's 120.87. Quite a difference there between the two, and just behind that, you see there at the top of the hill, at the north end of the speedway, Jacob Jensen has not abandoned the pursuit of Nicholas Caldwell. And I'm sure after a coming together of that nature, be a little bit more hesitant to pass the guy. Might want to give him a little bit more room. Tries to go up and under. Oh, a little bit more contact made between the two. Second time Jensen now has gotten into Caldwell, and I'm sure Caldwell's counting as well. Not too much doing there as Jensen didn't power up through the contacts of the 34 stayed straight, but you could tell Jensen is piling on the pressure, not because he's a dirty driver, but because he's showing, hey, I am way faster than you. But fair play to Nicholas Caldwell for just making his car as wide as possible, not doing anything erratic. He's just running his race, taking the lines that he needs to take, and it's a part of road course racing. Sometimes you got to set the pass up about 6 or 7 corners in advance before you can actually make the pass. And this battling and the contact between the two has allowed Austin Carpe to pull within a second of these dueling duo here. Here comes Jensen to the inside, now has the move, now has the position. A little bit of return fire from the 34 of Caldwell. And Jensen has the move done. Next fight here is going to be to see if Caldwell has enough speed up the hill. And it would look as though the answer is no to get back to the back bumper of the 64. So Jensen up to 5th, and with him being 18 seconds adrift of Michael Robinson and Paul Irvin, this appears as though this will be the highest he will get unless one of these two has an absolute mare. Because we're coming down to 2 laps to go here. And back to Caldwell and Carpe. Oh, big wiggle as Caldwell jumps the curb. Really unsettles that car, and that allows Carpe to win the duel. So Austin Carpe 2 seconds behind Jacob Jensen, now 1.5 seconds ahead of Nicholas Caldwell. Closest battle on track is right here. This is the battle for 3rd, the final spot on the podium. Slow turn 2 exit for Paul Irvin allows Michael Robinson to catch right back up. First and second are not in doubt. Reeling has the race lead by 13.5 seconds and growing. Rob Haynes has a 15-second advantage over these two. It is who will be the 3rd driver that we interview here tonight is the only question. Final lap for Alex Reeling. Alex Reeling has been so dominant here today. Only once this season has somebody swept a race weekend. That would have been Travis Beckner at New Hampshire, race number 3 of the season. To win the pole, win the stage, and win the race. Rob Haynes won the pole and the stage at Auto Club. Alan Elwood won the pole and the race at Texas. But only Travis Beckner to this point has been able to do all 3. Coming out of turn number 11 into turn number 12, the last big worry point. He's made it look so easy here tonight. Alex Reeling comes across the line. He will win round number 6 and take the W going into the holiday 2-week break. What a performance from car number 1. The ace has aced it. Rob Haynes has crossed the line in second. It will be Paul Irvin who will hold off Michael Robinson for third. One last-ditch effort for Nicholas Caldwell. Couldn't quite make the pass. A valiant effort for Caldwell, but not able to get Austin Carpe. As Carpe, slow off the line, almost lost the spot to Caldwell. Comes through, only about a 10th better. As there again, Alex Reeling. What a race that young man put together. Absolutely incredible. Incredible drive from the number 1. We will get to talk to him now. Alex, you made that look about as easy as App State basketball did last night, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How were you able to make it look so easy here tonight? I've driven these cars around road courses. It's not easy to get around here, period. You got around here faster than everybody here tonight.
Well, at some of these road courses, it's just mostly throttle control. I kind of suck at them, but I just knew I had to not spin my tires as much and just keep it easy on the gas coming up in the corners and just hit my braking zones as much as I could in my line. At the end, I started over aggressive and started missing my corners and everything, so it was kind of slowing me down a little, but I got back in the memo, so.
Looking through, going back to the stage restart, the 99 stays out after pitting a couple laps before the stage ended. Were you all that concerned about him getting too far out ahead, or did you know that his older tires were going to hurt him in the long run and that you'd eventually be able to get him?
Yeah, that's the thing I was trying to think about, if I should pit or just go win the stage. But then I was like, well, they're going to be on older tires anyway, and unless they come back down pit road, which they should not. So I was like, we're just going to go and win the stage. And I was like, then he was on older tires, so I just kept it smart and just waited for him to make a mistake, which he did, and I got around him, and I was just on cruise from there. So
we have a 2-week break here coming up, and then after that, excuse me, I don't quite have the schedule up yet, but a 2-week break. You got the 50-50 race coming up next week. Then it's the Thanksgiving week off, followed by, as we work our way down the screen, Indianapolis, the oval at Indianapolis. What are your thoughts going into that race?
That's a pretty good track. I love that. I haven't ran it in a long time since it's been the road course for so many years. So, I mean, definitely want to get some practice in there, but I feel like we would have a good car there too. So, yeah.
Anybody you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to thank App State, for Performance Racing School, LaJoy Seating, MPI Steering Wheels, 213 Simware, StackUp.org. My other teammates that run a different series, and that's pretty much it.
All right, your race winner here tonight, Alex Reeling. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
I do not believe we have Haynes here for an interview, so we are going to go to our third place finisher here tonight. That would be the 48 of Paul Irvin. Paul, you had a couple of pretty good battles. You fell behind a little bit on the initial start, worked your way up through the field, and then a great battle with Michael Robinson at the end of the race.
Yeah, first off, shout out to Michael. He had every opportunity to bully his way past me, especially there next to last lap. I got extremely loose off the hairpin and took basically the whole track to catch it, and he could have spun me, but he backed out of it. So obviously shout him out for being a great competitor.
Now, knowing how difficult these cars are, not just around here, but on a road course in general, and how sensitive you have to be on the throttle with them, when you made that mistake coming out of the hairpin, lost a couple of spots, how difficult is it to kind of calm down and just, instead of trying to race harder to make up that time, just kind of compose yourself, focus on hitting your marks and gaining time that way?
Yeah, it's actually more important once you do that to go a little bit slower, a couple laps. Obviously, one, to collect yourself, get back into the rhythm, but to cool the tires down. Once you burn the rear tires off of these things, especially at a road course, you're done. So, yeah, just calm, collect yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to dig yourself into a bigger hole.
We have a couple of weeks off. We have a 50-50 race coming up next week, and then it's Thanksgiving. The final Tuesday in November, the 28th, will be Indianapolis. What are your thoughts going to the Brickyard for the final week of the month?
I'm a huge fan of Indy. I'm obviously glad it's not the Indy road course. There's no reason I should have finished third. I'm not a road racer, but and that's, I'll be honest with you, it's the second time I've ever ran Sonoma on the system. So how I managed to hold Michael off and finish third, I don't know. I'm glad we're back to an oval or rectangle, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, excited for it. Always have ran pretty well there. I compare myself to like Indy and Pocono being kind of similar to me, and I run well at both of them. So yeah, really looking forward to it, and glad we got some momentum headed forward to it.
Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Obviously Ed for running this thing, and Dustin Carroll for the paint scheme. He did a great job with the Best Friends paint scheme, and obviously you for the broadcast, so I can go back and watch me hold on for my life the last few laps.
All right, your third place finisher tonight, Paul Irvin. Bud, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so that will do it for us here tonight. And what a fun race that we had. Always love seeing these nice races where you can run green, and sometimes it doesn't produce the best action because there is such a skill gap involved in these road courses that you find guys running in pockets about 20, 30 seconds off of the next driver in front. But tonight we saw a couple of great pockets of battles. We saw drivers forcing moves. We saw drivers making mistakes and picking apart the driver that they were trying to pass until they finally found an opening or were able to catch them in a mistake. A very, very fun night here at Sonoma, and a night where road course racing really should be, and just goes to show how much fun this stuff is once you see it done right, as it was here tonight. We'll take a look at the final results here for tonight's race. Alex Reeling takes home his first win of the season. That will be 6 different winners in 6 races, and going into the 2 weeks off, a nice little bit of momentum going into Indianapolis in 3 weeks' time. Rob Haynes, Paul Irvin, Michael Robinson, and Jacob Jensen will make up the top 5. Austin Carpe, Nicholas Caldwell, Michael Thwaites never really recovered from that mistake. Gary Wells and Dustin Carroll round out the top 10. Nate Orlowski, Colby Collins, David Kilo, Ed Morris, Logan Koger, 15th. Josh Wren, Kerry Cleaver did not finish this race, and Keith Walton in the 69 did not start this race from the 18th position. So that will do it for us here from Sonoma. We will see you in 3 weeks' time. We thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. As always, my name is Frank Marchese, and remember, as you walk down the road of life, please do not play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.